What's going on, pre-Chiro students? It's Dr. Ben again with a meaningful conversation for you from someone who graduated from Parker University, Dr. Jarrett Browning, and also is involved in the profession in a multitude of ways. So we're going to explore those to give you more insight today and help make your path maybe a little clearer, a little bit easier to follow this chiropractic path down the rabbit hole. So Dr. Jarrett, get us started by sharing your background, what you were up to before chiropractic school. Why'd you decide to become a chiropractor?
Good morning. Um, well, my background comes from gymnastics. So, if any of you know, there's a ton of body awareness when it comes to gymnastics and a lot of injuries. I mean, you're constantly pounding yourself day after day. You're pushing through injuries that most people just would quit towards. And there was some innate desire and strength within me and other gymnasts to just keep going. And, injuries typically, you're going to go see an orthopedic surgeon, and then you're going to go to maybe physical therapy if you're doing more of a conservative route, or surgery. And it was really interesting to be in a PT's office. And it was the first time that I really had a connection with the profession, people that were hands-on, helping me, wanting me to be better. And it clicked. It was something that I said, oh, this is something I'd be interested in. And so that was like the headstrong path that I was going towards. And fortunately, I was in junior year at the University of Oklahoma, and a friend of mine just looked at me and he said, man, you're going to be a chiropractor. And I was like, a chiropractor? And I just had this vivid memory of a childhood family friend who had seen a chiropractor. She had rheumatoid arthritis, and the chiro adjusted. And just because of that sort of compounding injury and the physiologic changes that are happening in this woman's body, her spine couldn't withstand that force. And it ended up breaking a piece off of her cervical spine and had to go to the hospital. And so in my 6-year-old mind, I thought that chiropractor did a lot of damage. And, that really put like almost like a blacklist on the chiropractic profession. And thankfully, this friend was really, really, really diligent, and he just kept with me and was present. And he finally said, hey, why don't you take a tour of a school? And it was on the grounds of the Parker campus. I was right in front of Jim Parker's statue, and it was just an amazing experience. It was empty. It was a Friday afternoon. All the students had left. Yet there was just this palpable energy of change, of passion, of knowing that the body's healing capabilities are much better or much stronger than we could ever fathom. And it just overwhelmed me. And I knew in that moment, this is it.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk a moment about Jim Parker and what you came to know about him, becoming a Parker University student? What does Jim Parker mean to the university? Obviously, he was the founding member, or he started it, or he created a lot. Though, can you expound upon some of the legacy builders that he had, or some of the messages that he provided for students to follow, or to provide a construct of chiropractic education?
Absolutely. So if you know Jim Parker's story, something that I remember very, very early on in school is just this essence of him going to school at Palmer, and then all of a sudden he's got a multitude of practices. He was practicing because in Illinois, you could have an office without having a license. So he set up a chiropractic office in Illinois and was going to school in Iowa and then traveling over to Illinois and making sure he could run that. And by the time he had finished and graduated, he came back to Texas. He's from a small town called Meridian, Texas. And he opened up 16 offices. And apparently he had this pilot's license. He was flying to all of the different offices. And what he came to realize is that there was this distinguishing factor between successful chiropractors and non-successful chiropractors. And he could take a practice that was booming with a chiropractor that had these success principles and switch it with another office that was maybe in a worse part of town. And you could just totally switch the chiropractors and put the one who had success principles and watch that non-flourishing practice grow. And so that's whenever he established the Parker Research Foundation, or the Parker Chiropractic Research Foundation in Fort Worth, Texas, as well as the Parker School for Professional Success. And that later became Parker Seminar. And really what he did is he knew the profession needed these success principles to be taught to chiropractors. We're not really learning business per se in school. We're learning the essentials to pass boards and become great chiropractors. Yet a lot of us become entrepreneurs. So that was his main focus, is to ensure that every chiropractor had a successful practice. And many of his followers, I mean, he had thousands of people at these seminars. Madison Square Garden, he filled Madison Square Garden with chiropractors for a Parker seminar. And that went on for years and in decades. People even created a fund to gift him this Rolls Royce that they could just say thank you for helping build their practices. And it was those followers who said, you know what, Jim, you need to create a school. And, you know, finally he had the dream to create a school, and it's here today. And I honestly feel that his essence continues to just walk around the campus and be there, be present. I mean, the principles live strong. You know, we have the 33 principles of chiropractic, and Dr. Jim also has these success principles of business. It was really wonderful to learn those in school and apply them daily.
And so you've been out in practice for about 5 to 10 years now. Can you talk about what those principles have kind of done to support you in the entrepreneurial experience that you've had as a chiropractor? Because a lot of prospective students don't realize that chiropractic is one of the few professions within the realm of healthcare, within the realm of taking care of other people, helping them live their best life, where you are entrepreneurial. We don't really function within the healthcare system per se. So can you talk about how Jim's success principles and your experience in chiropractic school at Parker really has helped you flourish as a practicing chiropractor?
You know, the first one that comes to mind is loving service, my first technique. And, you know, if you can't take care of somebody as if they were your mother, father, brother, sister, or child, there's really almost just an exchange that you're having. And these people that are coming into our offices, I mean, they're literally allowing their spines to go up and for us to touch their spine. And this is the lifeline for how they animate life. And it's this cord, the spinal cord, that is really allowing everything that they're experiencing to flow through. And so just having this way of being with a person in that loving capacity, that it's not just a person, it's a member of humanity, which is a collective force that we have no idea, once we have an aligned society, what that might do for the earth in general. Another thing from a business or an entrepreneurial perspective is act as if. And there's the first day that you open your doors, there's not going to be a line of people that are waiting on you. And you have to build it. And you have to almost animate yourself in a way that you're already successful, but having the humility to know that there's a lot that I don't know. There's a lot that I am going to be taught by the people who are coming in and laying on the table, and just being open and humble to that. And another principle is don't let the negative few overrule the positive many. And this will happen every moment in your life. You can either be with all of those stinky thinkies that are around, or you can allow yourself to actually to be that positive force, that positive light in your life. And, you know, so many people are going to say how awful it is starting a practice, or how you were never taught the things that you needed to be taught in chiropractic school. Because guess what? There's no way to really recreate what a real life practice experience is.
Yeah, I'm actually encouraging prospective students to get into that moment where they're starting into practice before they even go to chiropractic school, just to feel how uncomfortable that can be and to really step into that unknown of looking at their environment, whether it's a high school campus, college campus, even just a community center that they're hosting this out of, if they're not in school yet or not in school at all, and they're just thinking of transitioning careers into chiropractic, starting something in the name of chiropractic where they have to communicate some of the basics of why somebody would be interested in coming into their pre-chiro little collective unit that they're marketing or promoting. And I'm just curious, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced within yourself early on when you were entering into clinic or when you were starting after school that prospective students might encounter as well when they're um, starting to represent themselves to the general public or to people who are unfamiliar with chiropractic and like meeting those people where they're at? What is that experience like, or how can we potentially guide them to have a better experience of setting expectations maybe, or just giving them some encouragement of what that could be doing to help them in the long run?
We still have to remember that culturally, chiropractic is so fresh and it's a very new profession. So culturally, we may not have um, that buy-in where people are just going to naturally want to go see a chiropractor. And you also have to remember that in school, you're being titrated over a course of 3.5 to 4 years of wisdom, science, philosophy, and most definitely an art that is completely extraordinary to the common mind. And a lot of this knowingness that you're going to have from chiropractic school is not easily communicable from a first time perspective. So you have to remember that you're talking with people who are new to this, who are maybe really scared, a little bit unsure, and you have to just allow yourself to be humble enough to bring it way down and almost just having a general conversation of what is health? How do people experience health? What is it that you know about health? And then being able to just even add a little bit of a digestible tidbit of how health is access to the spine, why alignment is essential, why an adjustment could be a part of somebody's healthcare practice that allows them to have something that is more far reaching than they could ever imagine. And you really have to just give it to them in a very easily digestible and scalable way.
Mhm.
And that even comes for people who might be interested in chiropractic, because there is some essence of just unknown with it.
Mhm. Mhm. What are some of your biggest passions today after having been in practice for some years? Are there some projects you've been holding on to for a couple of years, or working on behind the scenes? What's your current level of involvement with, say, the projects in your life, or your biggest passion projects that have sprouted out of you becoming a chiropractor?
Fascinating. There's so many. I feel like I've had a blessed opportunity to serve in many roles, whether it be from the alumni board at Parker University and really helping promote a fundraising effort that had never existed before in our school's history. You know, in the 25 years that it had existed, there hadn't been a single donation greater than $25,000 by a single alumni. And we were able to reach that and help bring a force sensing table onto campus that's allowing students that are, even before they put a force into somebody else's spine, they're allowing themselves to actually put a force into this dummy that is then read out on a computer graph and gives them more of that confidence that they need so that they can feel comfortable in allowing that to happen for somebody else. The other project that I was really passionate about and still look forward to seeing that come to full fruition is the Century Club, which is a $100,000 endowment scholarship for Parker University students in the name of Jim Parker, because his 100th birthday anniversary was last year in 2020. And so 1,000 donations of $1,000, creating this endowment scholarship that is just going to perpetuate through the years of Parker being in existence. And so just knowing that the student debt and the just that alone is something that puts such strain on students, and just having us as a profession being able to pull into our pockets and give back and show up for these students, knowing that it's hard. It's a lot harder than it once was from a financial aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And those were my passion projects. And now, being removed from that and just being in private practice, my passion project is helping students in a very innate, organic, and intimate way. I've got a collective group of students that come in, and they don't shadow. We just have almost like a hands-on session where they're able to communicate what they're having trouble with, from palpation to skill set to anything that they need, from communication, and just being able to be there for them and really refine those skill sets that they need. So my real passion right now is making sure that there are these skilled practitioners that have just this unfathomable desire to be precise and clean and specific and have an outcome that is unreasonable when it comes to healing for these people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I share that same passion with you of trying to lift up that next generation of students. I think there are so many gaps in presentation and representation and clarity of what's available and where students can go to polish their skills, and just offering opportunities up to give them that opportunity for them to express and not be talked at or lectured to, or even seminars sometimes can be a bit stale because you're just there as the receiver, you're not there as the participant and the expressor. So that's really important. I love hearing that. And I've also hosted groups of students, and it's really rewarding to see how capable they are if given the opportunity, and just that little refinement. I always say students could just take one little thing, it's worth showing up for. What is the Century Club going to mean for the next generation of students? If we had, it sounds like you're raising about $1 million. What would you like to see that be invested in for the student experience, or for the future students that are coming into chiropractic school? How would that benefit them?
I really just want them to know that once a student has left chiropractic school, that their success means that future chiropractors get a chance to give back in a way that it's just easy for them to reach into their pockets and say, hey, I want you to have an experience that is supported, has backing from the profession, and I just want it to be something that is everlasting. We look at chiropractic, and from a very early standpoint, we could have said, will this profession last? And I want the Century Club to really be a reminder that the essence of chiropractic, the soul of chiropractic, is eternal, and this donation that's being given is also eternal in a way too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If we were just going to get creative thinking about that pre-Chiro student right now, what would it look like if there were more pre-Chiro clubs on college campuses? What types of function would they serve potentially to uplift their fellow college students or their fellow high school students? And how could they make an impact in that environment? What are some ways that you could reflect on, maybe that you're making a way to impact your community that you're currently in, and what it means to be a chiropractor in a community that uh, quite frankly doesn't really know too much about chiropractic, or it's not there?
I just feel it's going to give more of an opportunity to those who would have never known an opportunity to know. And because we're not going to reach everybody, yet at the same time, the more of us that are around, the more of a it's almost like a basketball team. If you have a really small group of people, your team is only going to be fed from that small group. But if you have a bigger group, there's going to be leaders, there's going to be people that are going to stand out and help amplify the profession, going to have ideas that are going to say, hey, let's research this, or hey, let's go in this direction. It's just going to allow the profession to develop in a way that is going to have more tangibility, more light. And I just feel more greatness.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. Well, yeah, I want to thank you for just being so clear and crisp with your answers. Is there any message that you could share with a prospective student to help differentiate in their mind what this path offers compared to, say, a medical or physical therapy path? Not that you've gone down those paths too far, but can you kind of just give a clear, concise, I hate to say the word pitch on why chiropractic, but um, why do you think people should strongly consider becoming chiropractors?
For me, the whole reason was it allowed me to be more of my authentic, vibrant self. And you can imagine that there's just so much strain that is happening in humanity all around. And there's ways that we can allow allopathic opportunities to help just give the body a chance to pause, so maybe it can regain enough energy so that it has the ability to heal. Yet what chiropractic does from a very, very, very elemental way is it says, I know this body has an innate force that is allowing it to maintain its existence. And how can we give the system that contains this force, the ability to have more alignment, so that way the force is actually allowing itself to manifest through the whole entire system and not just be in that system, but be able to flow over so that it can impact people around them. And if you can allow yourself to imagine how that could ripple not just to a family unit, but then maybe a community, to a town, to a city, state, country, international, and then eventually, if you have a galactic vision, then we can also have that as well. So just allow yourself to know that just by touching somebody's spine and giving them presence and love, to adjust it in a way that allows that body to remember. You're not doing this for them. You're allowing that body to remember that it has an intelligence to adjust to the forces of life so that life isn't happening to them. They begin to learn how life is happening for them. And by just having that alone, their system expands and evolves in a way that reaches so much more.
Hmm. You mentioned that before school you had a student that was very much adamant that you consider chiropractic, and then I imagine you had some fellow students in chiropractic school really push you. Can you talk about the importance of some of the influences you've had from your mentors or from fellow students that were really close to you to help you be a better version of yourself, and to really encourage students to get into these study groups or to form these sort of accountability buddies that I like to refer to them as, where you're working really tightly with others?
Well, you have to have people that you know trust this innate wisdom, and you have to have people that you find that are stronger than you, and seek out people that don't make you comfortable. Seek out people that make you really, really, really uncomfortable, and allow them to weld you in a way that gives you the opportunity to go past your edge, because that's where you're going to grow, and that's where you're going to really become the chiropractor you deserve to be and that your community deserves to have.
Hmm. Hmm. Right on. Are you still involved with the alumni board or no?
I'm not. I support Parker in everything that it is. There's so much greatness that is coming from the school. And I've got many friends that are currently serving on the alumni board. And I just love what they're doing to help reconnect people that have gone out into the profession and are now ready to give back and make sure that people stay connected with the school, because that's really what the alumni board is about, is reconnecting chiropractors once they've graduated.
Mhm, mhm. All right. Well, I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And I'll post some sort of link so people can get in contact with you or connect with you if they're interested in that. And thank you so much. Any final messages for that prospective student, that younger version of you that was in high school or college, who's trying to figure it out, who's maybe just hearing about chiropractic for the first time from you right now? But do you have any strong recommendations for them?
Just see as many chiropractors as you can, and just allow yourself to get curious about what developed chiropractic, what chiropractic started from, where it has gone to, and where you fit. Because even if you think that chiropractic from one perspective doesn't fit you, allow yourself to imagine how chiropractic can support you in a way that maybe you're going to develop yourself, because there's such a need for the chiropractic spirit or the chiropractic essence or the chiropractic philosophy to embody itself in a way that can connect with every human on this planet. So my suggestion is, when you say maybe chiropractic isn't for me, ask yourself, who are you? First of all, before you do anything, know who you are, and then see how you could then impact chiropractic in a way that would allow it to reach so many more.